What's up guys, Kevin Rogers, owner operator of On Point Pro Styles Window Tinting in Gainesville, Georgia. I wanted to do a video about the seals when you're cutting on the outside and you're moving the film around, and then you have to pull down on the bottom to be able to tuck low enough in the seal on the inside. And I've stressed it in the past, but I haven't stressed it in, I don't think, any video about how important it is to know the inside seal. Where is the inside seal? If you're using the outside seal as a guide, you need to know where your inside seal is so that you're pulling down enough. So I'm gonna set some film on here and I'm gonna cut it, not pretending like I don't know about the seal on the inside of this car. As a two-stager, we don't want too much extra film, both front or back or the bottom, as the more that we have to tuck, the harder it is. So I like to barely have, or not barely, but I like to have just enough to tuck in the sides and cover any light gaps, and just enough in the bottom that it drops right in and we can kind of go, but we still have to cover that gap. But in this particular car, this has a certain seal on the inside that could easily leave a light gap on the bottom if you do just a standard sort of 1/4 inch pull or 1/8 inch pull on the bottom. Let me set some film up. I'm gonna draw some lines. We're gonna do the sharper method on it and get this thing set up so I could show you what a normal pull would be and what it'll end up looking like after you install it. So I got my pattern drawn out with the Sharpie marker. So I've marked the front, I've marked the bottom gasket, which is right on top of the outer sweep. And then we've marked the back side. I've already rolled the window down and cut the top edge. So I'm gonna finish this pattern up and I'll show you what normally on a two-stage pattern with an equal gasket outside and inside would look like. And then we'll get it installed and I'll show you what ended up happening. So typically when you're cutting for two-stage, you don't want too much extra. So we know our marker line is only where the seal and the glass meet, so we need extra. So I drop out a little bit, right around 1/8 or a little bit better than 1/8 past that Sharpie mark, so that it's what I call just right for a two-stage or even a bottom loader. You don't want too much tucking into your right and your front and back. The same thing on the front. Gonna leave just a little extra, about 1/8 past, or I call it the marker width past. And on the bottom, typically for a two-stage with even gaskets, you would use about the same. So we're gonna do that, pretending like I don't know the seal in this car, because I wanna show you what happens if you don't check your seal and cut as you normally would for a two-stager. So for a two-stager, you want as little as possible. I mean, you want it to go below the gasket, but you don't want it to go too much. You want just enough. You want enough that it does its job, goes below the gasket, doesn't rub on the gasket, but it's quick and easy to install. So we just cut this, not pretending we didn't check that inner gasket, and we're gonna install this and I'll show you what happens. So I've got it installed. I installed it as normal. It's got a nice micro edge on the top. We've got full coverage front and back. And from the outside, as you can see, not too bad. Can't see a gap. It's what's inside that really matters, and this is what I wanna show you. So this is a pretty wide open panel on the top here. So now that we're on the inside, right now, because it's very dark and it's hard for the camera to see, but I can view the bottom of the film right here. And now I'm gonna light it up. Give you a real bird's eye view of what it looks like. So right along the very bottom, let me get a pointer of some kind, is the end of this black is where the film is. That green that you see, that greenish color beyond it, is the glass, and it looks really, really bad, especially in person. So yeah, this is a little better view. All that on the bottom, right there where the tip of this is touching, that's just glass, solid glass. The film ends here, right on the very bottom. So basically, number one, we're way above the inner seal. Now I hope that gives you a little better view of what I'm talking about. We're way above the inner seal. Not a big deal, it just means you can't roll them down for a few days till it dries. But the big deal is, in the event the customer has their door open and they're standing here and they look right there, which is pretty obvious, that just doesn't look very good. So at the end of the day, like I said, checking outside, sure, looks great, looks fine. And who knows, maybe the customer's not gonna see something like that on the inside of the car, but if it's that wide open and that obvious, I don't know, I would probably redo that window. It needed an extra 1/4 inch to, even if it didn't go below the seal, like I said, is not a big deal. At least if it was dropped far enough that you can't see the edge of the film. That's what matters the most. So quick, easy video. You guys make sure you check how deep the inner seal is before you get to cutting out your pattern. First thing I do when I pull a car in is I check my side seals. What am I working with? How tight are they? How deep are they? And I always look at that inner seal before I even get out of the car. So that's it. Kevin Rogers, On Point Pro Styles Window Tinting in Gainesville, Georgia, bringing you another one, hopefully more soon. Check out tintingdepot.com, hightechfilms.com if you don't know, you should, and plotterdepot.com for plotters and software. So see you on the next one.